Hello everybody, my name is Cory Barlog. I am the head of creative here at Santa Monica Studio, and I am excited to be coming here to talk to you a little bit about the God of War franchise as we're expanding out, TV, some games, but most importantly, most specifically for today, we're here to talk about God of War Laufey. And I have the director here sitting with me that I'm going to be talking to. Ariel Lawrence is somebody who I've worked with for 23 years. See, she's laughing because that, my God, is a long time. And obviously we've done different things throughout all of that, but we're gonna get to know Ariel just a little bit in this sit down and talk a little bit about our past and what the game is that we're making here. Ariel Lawrence,
yes,
how are you today?
Excited to be here.
Excited to be
here.
That's good. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Look, so when did you start working at Santa Monica? When was it?
I started working at Santa Monica in August of 2003, and I was right out of film school. I got hired to cut trailers and videos, and I cut the TGS trailer for the first God of War. And then I wanted to do more than wait tables, so I asked if there was anything else I could do around here, and I ended up working in production. And I worked on God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension, and I was 2 years on 2018 before I took my little walkabout in the world. And then I couldn't get enough of this place. I came back home.
That's quite an amazing journey. You have deep roots with the God of War world. Cutting the trailer for TGS, that was like the first sort of thing that I worked on, I think, when I got here as well.
So that was back in the day when Kratos had blue tattoo.
Yeah.
And
we're still calling him Dominus.
It's still calling him Dominus.
Yep.
Yeah, and the team was only like, 30, 35 people maybe? Small compared to now.
It was weird. It's weird to think
about
making games with that small of a group of people. When we were like 65 people, that's so much. And then we got to 100, that's so much.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the most memorable aspects of working on God of War, the whole franchise?
The whole franchise? I mean, I think each game definitely, left its mark or scars, battle scars. Yeah. But, it's like the studio's just the commitment to quality and the late nights with each other trying to figure out some problem or make some magic happen in the middle of the night, or coming back in and somebody took a smoke break and, I don't know, maybe changed the boss of God of War 2. I think that might have been
I feel like that's a dig at me. I feel like I'm going to own that one because that's entirely true.
But, yeah, no, I mean, every game was like a new set of challenges. Like, how do you make Titans? How do you make the trailer for the Titans come through?
Yes.
How do you make multiplayer? How do you reinvent Kratos? Where does he go? So it's always an exciting story.
Why did you want to come back to the studio? What made you decide this is where I need to be?
The short and probably semi-uncomfortable answer for this interview is I came back for you. Definitely that bar of excellence has been in my head for a long time. Your creative voice has weighed down on some projects of mine, and I don't know, I just missed the team's commitment, just the people here. I came back for the people.
I came back for the people.
I came back.
I like that. That's better than coming back for me, because the voices in my head are not ones to follow.
That's your voice in my head, not your voices in my head. That's different.
True. If you had my voices in your, that's not even. That's a whole nother series of videos, I imagine. So, when you found out coming here that you were going to work on a Faye game, what was your thoughts?
I was excited. I was a little shocked, surprised, I think, that we were going to do something different. I think when I was coming back and talking to folks, I had just assumed it would be another Kratos game, and that's who I would be telling stories about for the rest of my life. And I was okay with that. But I think finding out about Faye and just seeing somebody whose journey that we could really explore and turn new pages on was exciting. Looking at the world in a different lens was exciting. So it was, just saying yes to that opportunity, I think was really cool.
It's a good outlook. Just say yes to that opportunity.
That's what has gotten me into a lot of trouble over the years.
That's true. I still can't
present position included.
Yeah, I always try to talk people out of directing.
You
these
did
games.
try to talk me out of doing
But
this.
I try to be upfront and straightforward
Yes.
about it, just so that people don't feel like you tricked me. Like,
No,
or,
you were
know,
very
feel like I tricked
honest
him.
about the work that it entailed
Yeah.
for doing this. Yes.
Yes. And it's exciting. Faye is, while it's a different thing, it's still part of the larger tapestry of what we're doing. We really want to explore all these different characters in there, but there's always going to be Kratos games, like throughout the
Oh,
whole
for sure.
history. We're super
Yeah, we
excited
can't not
about
tell
that.
stories about the big guy.
Let's go into directing. What are you most excited about in stepping into the role as a game director?
There's like a fine line between excitement and being terrified. I think I'm on the edge of excitement most of the time, but I think being able to be curious about everything on the game. Previously, I had done a lot of work on story and cinematics and in different pipelines for the game, but this really got me able to be nosy and ask questions and really get people to look at things differently from a lot of different perspectives, and to just have an opportunity to kind of like find myself in Faye's story was exciting. But yeah, then I think just captaining this ship with all of these humans making this game together is a lot, but it's very exciting.
I want to go back to something you said, finding yourself. Talk about what part of you you're putting into the game.
I mean, I think, we've always come at stories from Santa Monica with, characters at their heart, right? And finding ourselves, even in Kratos, everybody's had a point in their time when they've made some decisions that maybe they wish they hadn't and really thought things through again. But I think for Faye, that was that question of, who is she? Who was this person that everybody idolized and, just stood in awe of, and to really think about all the facets that make up that person, right? She's, a loving wife and mother, but she's also a warrior. She's a guardian of her people. She's a rebellion leader. She's all of these things. And to be able to have an opportunity to just explore that person with the detail and the love that Santa Monica brings is just, very touching, very exciting.
What's the hardest part for you stepping into the role as a director? Is there any sort of individual parts where it's like that you feel great about overcoming? I think that's probably the more specific question. Is there's hard parts, but we always sort of push through and we get to that other side. What's any hard parts that you can think of that?
I mean, I think the hard parts there are definitely some places where I feel, comfortable, story is a comforting place for me. But there are some places that are new in a way that having to be familiar with that depth, there's engineering things and design issues and all sorts of things, and everybody has a question and they all need their answers immediately, and trying to kind of keep the potluck that we have going and becoming still digestible at the end of the meal, like that's been very difficult sometimes, of just trying to get everything they need to be as creative as possible, and then keep a handle on making sure that it still tells a singular story of Faye. I think that's been it's been a learning and growing experience as time has gone on. And there's always voices from the top and there's always voices from the bottom. Everybody has an opinion, which is one of the things I love about Santa Monica. And it's trying to figure out how to temper those to make sure that we're being truthful to who Faye is and what her journey is on that.
So you kind of dove into aspects of design and engineering and got more educated on that.
Yeah, I think that's the fun part. I mean, that's the wonderful part about making games, is that it's not just one person; it's hundreds of people now to make it together. And that's there are places and things that every day is different. Every day is 80 different meetings about different topics, and play testers and build times and design questions and art questions and narrative questions and working with actors, and it's exciting. So I don't know, it keeps me busy. Never a dull moment.
Exciting, overwhelming, but fantastic. And you are doing an amazing job at it.
Appreciate
falling into the crazy fray quite well. So for the folks at home who haven't seen the announce that we've done, why don't you do a little Recap, tell us what that's all about.
Well, the game reveal that we just showed, hopefully everybody's gotten a chance to see it. If not, maybe they'll take a chance right now. But we start with Faye's dead. We wanted to start exactly... we wanted to start exactly where the players were, which is, in God of War 2018, her death was the impetus for Kratos and Atreus' journey together and their growth together and going on to Ragnarok. We debated whether or not to tell a story before that. And what we really wanted to do was just pick up exactly where the player was, which is Faye's dead. And she finds herself in the afterlife of the gods. And there she discovers some things that make her question whether or not Kratos and Atreus are safe. And she's determined to find a way back to help them.
What do you want the audience to feel?
I'd like the audience to watch the game reveal and be like, this is amazing. I can't wait to play this. I can't wait to be in Faye's boots kicking ass. That's what I want the players to feel. I want them to be curious about the world and the opportunity that it has in magic and the gods that we're going to meet with all these mythologies coming together in the afterlife. I want them to be excited and swept away by the world and Faye's story and where she's going to go.
But this is gameplay in this reveal. And this is showing that this is not a prequel. This is a continuation of the timeline right at the beginning of God of War 2018. What happened to Faye after that funeral?
Exactly. And we were really intent on it being gameplay. We wanted the first taste for players to really center on what it's like to play this game and who this person is and really show you what you're going to get when you pick the controllers up.
Speaking of who this person is, Faye, what is the most interesting aspect of her? Why is Faye such a compelling character? I know why. I have my own answer, but I'd love to hear your answer. Why is she so compelling?
I find great connection with Faye's curiosity about the world, her loyalty to her friends and family, just the fact that she goes into situations that she's kind of unprepared for and kicks ass anyway. And I think that, she's a little bit more improvisational than maybe Kratos might be. And she's not afraid to kind of be honest and show her kind of true self and emotions on things. And I think, for Kratos, we love him dearly, but I think sometimes he's a little closed off and he's learning to open up a little bit more. So I think with Faye...
He's working on it. He's
working on it. But I think with Faye, we got to be let in a little bit more.
Where is this all taking place? Like we're talking about that Faye, she died, right? She died at the beginning of 2018, and now we're kind of moving into this game and going on the journey. Where is this?
So Faye finds herself in the afterlife of the gods. So this is the birthplace and the ending point to which all magic returns. All magic. And so the amazing thing about that is twofold, right? We get all sorts of magic, a highly heightened magical world to play in. But we also get the return and the discovery of a lot of different mythologies coming together and what happens when those mythologies kind of meet up, and being able to kind of encompass and throw our arms around different mythologies has been very exciting. Just getting to know different people and different people's stories. So
the afterlife of the gods is kind of this transcendent place above kind of the mortal world and the afterlife of humans, and then the sort of underworld of humans. It exists sort of above all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Ragnarok, Odin really was kind of taken by that question. What happens to us when we die? We know what happens to the mortals when they die, but what happens to us? And so this is an answer for that question. What happens to gods when they die? And, things aren't working quite exactly the way that they should be in this afterlife of the gods. And magic isn't flowing exactly the way that it should be. So this afterlife's not exactly a paradise. It's a little bit more of a prison.
It's gone a little bit cattywampus.
A little bit. And the folks who are in charge there, who you'll meet in the reveal video, Sekhmet and Baxi, they've taken over things. And as two respective gods of war, they have a certain way of doing things. It's a little bit more violent. So this place is it's beautiful, it's magical, but it's very dangerous.
From a gameplay perspective, how is this a God of War game? What makes it sort of fit in the pantheon of God of War gameplay?
Well, we don't shy away from violence, that's for sure. So definitely true to our kind of brutal roots. But I think more than that, we're focused on Faye and telling her story and just really exploring the world through her eyes, that journey of her character and how she comes across this world. So I think that at the heart of it really just makes us a God of War game and a Santa Monica game. But, Faye affords us a few more opportunities than maybe Kratos might. Faye is a little bit more agile in the world than Kratos is. And she has a healthier relationship, I think, than with magic. She hasn't quite the past that Kratos has.
She's more of the embracer of magic, whereas Kratos is the skeptical user of magic.
Yeah. So definitely being in a world so filled with magic, we can really lean into that with Faye. And, we want to stay true to the hallmarks of a God of War game, just that close, combat, that agility, the exploration of our world, story at our heart. These are all things.
Pick up and play.
Absolutely.
That sort of brutal, kind of intimate gameplay that we've been sort of refined through each of the iterations, taking it one step further and taking it one step further. What are some things that are kind of added to make it unique?
Well, I think one of the first things that excited the team was that we brought jump back into the game. Kratos hasn't jumped for a little while. So I think that we looked through all of our God of War games from the Greek era, the Norse era, and really we got to kind of pick up each element and think about, does this help us tell Laufey's story? She is always thinking on her feet and, throwing herself into kind of the next battle and really trying to work her way through the world. And so leaning into that, we were able to borrow some of those elements from the Greek era, the movement, the fluidity in there, but then also couple that with the Norse era, the way that we approach the world, our close ties with character, Faye's relationship with her companions, all of these things kind of led us to this new version that is uniquely Faye.
God of War Laufey. Laufey is played by the amazing and absolutely wonderful Deborah Ann Wall.
Stunningly talented.
Stunningly talented. She worded it so much better than I did. Talk to me about working with her.
She's amazing, hands down. She just comes to the set with so much energy, and it's amazing to just be in this imagination world with her. And she is Faye, and Faye is her. She's also amazing in the VO booth. Just one of the best actors I've worked with in the booth, and just brings everything to it. Leaves no stone unturned.
Consummate professional.
Consummate professional. She's just a lot of fun to be with, too.
Yeah, she is a joy. And what about the illustrious Jack Quaid?
Everybody in Laufey is fantastic. Yeah. Jack is very excited, which is amazing. And Perlina, our Rue character, is also amazing. And
who's your favorite?
I can't pick favorites.
You got to pick a favorite.
I can't pick favorites on camera. They'll come for me.
You have to pick a favorite.
I still have to finish this game. I can't pick favorites.
Yeah. We won't show it until after
I've heard that one
the game, but you got to pick a favorite. If you had to pick a favorite, gun to your head.
You're my favorite.
That's the correct answer. Thank you. You've been watching Dev Talk, and I am her favorite.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know who I would pick.
I don't know.
And I've only met each one of them on a Zoom call. I know, I was able to participate in the mocap thing via Skype.
And they work so well together, just good energy.
He really is a delight.
They all are.
Yeah.
Really, you did us a solid however many years ago getting Deborah as Faye.
But she is wonderful. I am a huge, huge, huge fan of all of the work that she does. And the work that she's done in this is second to none. Just truly amazing.
But you've been asking a lot of questions, Cory. Why did you want to make a Faye game? Because when I came back to the studio, the Faye game was already in process. Yeah. So what about Faye did you want to do? What about Faye was interesting for you in terms of telling her story?
I think Faye is one of she's in my top 3 favorite characters, right, of the entire franchise. And she is just such an interesting character with how much she was an orchestrator of Kratos and Atreus' journey. For me, a warrior has sort of touched such interesting parts of the past history of God of War. Moving to a Fae game and kind of seeing it move forward, rather than saying like, hey, let's do a Fae game, which we did explore. At the beginning, we were like, let's do the time before so we can really see all these cool moments, like when she was making the axe with Brock and Sindri and all the drama that happened with that. But ultimately, the most interesting part was really to tackle like, hey, what happened when she died? And what continued on and start to create this new layer that exists above. And throughout Ragnarok, Odin was talking about, what you had mentioned before. What happens to us when we die? The other gods, I think secretly think that a little bit, but his OCD like really took over and he was hyper fixated and focused, and rightfully so, because there is this sort of transcendent place beyond for the gods that is very interesting for us to start exploring and seeing how all these mythologies mash together. And then that sort of guide being Fae and seeing that difference of like, look, Fae was a warrior of equal sort of excellence, but also damage, right? When her and Kratos met, they were both pretty messed up.
Right? She did not have a good exit from her people. Things just went south. It's so funny that you say that she's a planner, because I feel like we have taken somebody who has spent their whole life trying to orchestrate things into a perfect space, and then we've put them in some place where they have to think on their feet all the time. Yeah. And I think that is
starting to sound a little bit like you.
Maybe just
a planner who is put into a place where she has to now improvise quite a lot. There's a lot of you inside of this game.
Yes.
And for me, it's really exciting because, the franchise, Kratos is sort of the
trunk of our tree.
And he sort of drives the franchise forward, and we want to follow him. But there are so many interesting characters that we created along the way. And for me, Faye and, Sindri are, to me, the two most interesting characters. And I love all the other characters. So all the other characters are amazing, and it's not that I don't love them. It's just that they have very interesting, examined lives that I really want to go deeper into.
I think also we're starting to build a world where we can tell stories about different people and tell different kinds of stories. Yeah. Kratos gives us his story, and it's been changing and evolving, and that's fantastic. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But it also is nice to be able to tell different stories along the way.
Yep. And to see where do these stories go, and introducing this sort of extra layer, the afterlife of the gods, that actually connects to all of these other things. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank
you for taking the time. So I want to encourage everybody out there to go take a look at the God of War Laufey announce that was just released. If you haven't seen it already, if you've seen it, watch it again, because it's even more awesome the second time. We're going to continue this conversation together, as well as with all of you out there in the coming months. As we get then closer to our release date, we'll even give you more information then. Until then, we are going to get back to work, because there is a lot of stuff to do. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Ariel Lawrence, for saying yes to direct this game. And thank you to all of the fans of God of War that allow us to continue to have jobs.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your support.
PlayStation